I believe in breaking the bonds of gravity. I'm talking about the accumulated clutter of unwelcome thoughts, feelings, and habits in our life and business that generates our own personal gravitational pull, holding each of us down in our own unique way. This video illustrates my favorite tool, how to redraw your map of the world. Our thinking shapes our reality. Learn how to change your thinking in a way that's more useful to accomplish your goals and that actually makes you happy. This 12-minute video clip from my free workshop last year shows it in action as applied to desperation, turning people off in sales. Francine, would you like to do the exercise together?
Sure.
All right. What's a negative thought that you'd like to change?
Mine is similar to Adam's at the beginning of what he said in terms of recruiting people for my new group. So I'm not having much success recruiting people and convincing them that this is the best thing since sliced bread.
Right. And what is your group? Could you just give us some context?
So it's Vistage, which is a peer advisory group for CEOs.
Got it. So label your unpleasant thought or situation. What are we going to call it?
I think it's past, it's a little hopelessness, right? That I've been doing this for a while and it's not working. Yeah. And I've tried lots of different things, but it's still not working.
All right. So hopelessness around forming a group.
Yeah.
What are some details about the situation? Give me a list of what's actually happened.
So I've had varying degrees of kind of, I'm getting to some better people, but it's still not closing. I have a meeting this afternoon with kind of the VP of that's head of who never believed I could do this in the first place. So it's coming up on kind of a self-imposed deadline, which is in December, that if I am not successful at it by then or have at least substantial progress, then I need to kind of rethink and figure out what plan B is.
All right. So again, you're not crazy. Your interpretation of events is possible. Why do you think the people in your circle are causing you this harm? The VP, the people you've recruited who have not responded positively. Why do you think they're acting the way that they're acting?
I don't think I'm presenting it in the most attractive way, right? They're not attracted to it. So those are the members. The VP, he's got different priorities in terms of, he wants to launch the group and launch it fast. I think I'll be a great chair, but the recruiting part is the part that's really hard for me. So I think he believes that as well, but you got to recruit the people in order to start the group. Yeah.
So what have you actually done to try to make things better, and what were the effects? Talk to me about your recruitment process. All that
so I've taken out the prospecting and gave that to somebody else, kind of paid somebody else to do the prospecting part. So I just get the end part and I'm not wasting time doing that. That's worked okay. I think I'm getting better leads, but they're still not closing. So like they can get me the best prospect in the world, but if I don't get them to sign, it doesn't mean anything. I've tried different approaches. So I've tried kind of a softer approach. I've tried a little bit more, I'll say in your face approach, kind of, challenging people, we'll say that much. But yet they're still not responding.
Okay. So let's focus on your prospects. Think of an alternative explanation, an alternative interpretation that still fits your set of facts. Again, be creative. What's another explanation for why people haven't responded more positively that's more desirable or more empowering to you?
I can compare myself to others, right, who are being successful, right? So I could say, oh, it's COVID, nobody's joining, nobody's got money to do this right now. But there's facts that disprove that, right? So that doesn't fit with the model, right? So, it's, they're not seeing, they're seeing my desperation, right? And that's off-putting to them, right? Because it's now not about, it's about like, I really need to prove myself at this point in time, to that boss and to myself and to everybody else.
What are alternative interpretations of why people haven't responded more positively that might be more desirable, that might be more empowering to you?
I don't
And
know.
so, and I'm sorry if I could just give an example. So a
Yeah.
counterexample rather, saying it's, it's all COVID, everything's impossible during COVID. That's not a very empowering interpretation, right? Because you can't do anything about COVID.
Right.
It is what it is. Saying that, I'm, they're smelling my desperation and that's what's turning them off. Again, that's not very empowering, right? What is it? What's something about them and their motivations for not responding that might be more positive, more empowering to you? And I'll just give a couple examples that come to my mind. Adam, Mark, if you guys want to jump in, that would be great too. What if people are just really busy and they have just more pressing things to do, maybe especially because of COVID, the stakes are higher than before, and they just don't have the time to focus on this? What if the people who you are prospecting, they had a bad experience with Visage or Forum or something like that in the past? What other possible interpretations are there? And again, Francine, Mark, Adam, feel free to jump in if you have any ideas. Something that you wish was true about the situation. That you wish was
they're not ready to join a forum. That it wouldn't matter who was trying to convince them that this is the time for them to invest in that type of thing. They're just not ready to do it.
Sure. So you are the right person for them. Vistage is the right organization, but now is not the right time.
Yeah.
Okay.
They already have. How about one? I talked to a guy yesterday. He's already got a support system that's like that, right? But he doesn't, he doesn't need it because he's already got it.
Yeah. So Francine, these various alternative interpretations, is there one or another that you wish was true? That you wish was the explanation for your current situation?
Well, for their sake, I hope they already have a group, right? For my sake, that doesn't help me pay the bills, right? So
here's another one.
Yeah.
What resonates with you is something that you wish was true and seems to be more empowering?
I don't know of those scenarios. What kind of makes me in a better spot, right? That's what you're asking me. So, I mean, we kind of...
Sure, well, let's explore some of them. Let's take the one where, or maybe it's a combination, we could combine a couple of them. These people are busy and now is just not the right time for whatever reason. Then, well, let's just choose that one for the sake of this exercise.
Sure.
So the reason why people haven't responded more positively is because they're busy and because just now is they're not receptive to it because now is not the right time. Are there any facts in your experience that might substantiate that to lead you to believe that that's a possibility?
Absolutely. I mean, people tell me that, right? Yeah.
So for the next week, for the next month, how could you act as if that is true? What are actions that invites? The reason why people haven't been responding is because they're really busy, and maybe because they're so busy, now it's not the time for them to focus on a new, on a new group. If that were true, what would be a productive action that would invite?
I mean, it could be changing of the messaging to say, everybody's overwhelmed, right? This is a possible cure for that, right? To challenge people and say, if you're overwhelmed, it's because you don't have a group like this who can help you deal with those kind of issues.
Sure, it's being overwhelmed isn't a reason not to do it. Being overwhelmed is a reason you need to do it.
Right.
I don't know if it's true or not, but a friend of mine likes to say a quote from the Dalai Lama that if everybody should meditate for 20 minutes a day. And if you can't find the time to meditate for 20 minutes a day, then you should meditate twice a day for 20 minutes. Just makes it even that much more important. Like the reason you're feeling so overwhelmed is because you haven't chosen priorities.
Right.
Vistage is going to help you do that. The reason why you're so overwhelmed is because you haven't dealt with the stuff that's, causing all the stress in your life. This is going to help you deal with all that stuff.
Right.
Because, again, I'm just, brainstorming here, because my prospect is busy and overwhelmed, I should expect that they're not necessarily going to get back to me. And if I want to cut through the clutter of someone who's really busy and overwhelmed, maybe let's say someone doesn't take my phone calls, someone doesn't respond to my emails. They're busy. I understand I'm not their top priority. How else could I get their attention? Maybe I could send them a lumpy mail package, like a real package that's lumpy. So, they get a pile of mail and like, oh, what's this big lump on my desk?
Right.
And maybe it has something silly, and maybe it has a $2 worth of Matchbox cars inside, and with a little note saying, looking how to drive your business forward the next, quarter or whatever it is. Just something, it's silly, but it just gets their attention. It cuts through that clutter of attention because they're so busy. This is a way to get through. Maybe you have a series of mailings that cut through. Maybe this really isn't the right time for them now, but it could be in 3 months. It could be in 6 months. Play the long game. It could be in a year. How could you add value to them right now? And every time that you interact with them, whether it's on the phone, and an email, and a package, at a at a YPO event or EO event or something like that, so that the next time that they are receptive to it, you're the first person they think of. These are all actions that are invited by this new interpretation.
Yeah.
And none of them involve negative thoughts about yourself. It's these people, these poor people, they're so busy. They're so just overwhelmed. They need Vistage.
Right.
It's a completely different interpretation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Was that useful for you? If it was, and you would like some help with this stuff, I run a free Facebook group called Mission Control Fellowship to help entrepreneurs gain clarity around who you are, where you want to go in your life and business, and how to get there. It's for lifelong learners looking to improve your life and business. Might be useful for you. Check it out in the link below, because to boldly go forward, a little help goes a long way.